What's up, guys? ACCardShark back again, back with another convention road trip. Heading back down to Oaks, Pennsylvania, where I was with John for Too Many Games. John and I are heading back out to Oaks, Pennsylvania, to the same expo center, and we're heading out to RetroCon. So it's like all retro, like toys, comics, games, all that kind of good stuff. So we are going to be hitting the road and heading down there. I'll take some footage around just like I did at Too Many Games. And I'm going to show you around the convention and bring you back to the game room, show you if I pick up anything, and if so, what it is. And we'll call it a wrap. So we're going to cut to some footage of the convention. Alright, guys, back in the game room after RetroCon 2014. I did record this on another day because by the time I got back from RetroCon, basically had to eat dinner, change, and go right to work. So this is actually on another day. Obviously, you see a different shirt. This is the KK slider shirt. But anyway, had a great time. It was a really good time, as you can see, hopefully from the footage I took. Just huge amount of like 230 vendors or something like that. There was a lot more game vendors than I expected, and there were just a good mixture. A lot of toys, a lot of stuffed animals, a lot of not a lot of comic books, maybe one or two vendors, but mainly a lot of toys and a lot of video games, which is great for me. I mean, that's awesome. So that's exactly what I bought, was a couple toys and some video games. So I just wanted to show you what I picked up and call it a wrap. The first thing I picked up was I guess it's technically considered a toy, but it is for my daughter. Back when she was like really young, we kind of not came up with the nickname, but we used the nickname Monchichi for my daughter because she kind of looked like one. I'm not gonna lie, she looked like one, the way her hair was and everything. So it just kind of stuck. So we still kind of used that nickname for her. So I couldn't pass up. It was, I think, $5, but it is an original stuffed Monchichi. If you guys remember these from the 80s, still has the bib and everything, and it has the like the little pacifier in the hand, which you can actually put in the Monchichi's mouth. So it looks like it's sucking on the pacifier. And it was $5 in really good condition, like basically brand new, from like, I want to say like the early 80s. I don't think there's any year on it, but I told her I'd get her a present, and so I brought her home a Monchichi. So I thought that was kind of cool. She loves it, so that was really awesome. So that was just a little side note there on the toy end of things. That was for my daughter. And then let's see, as far as the toys are concerned, you can't go to a toy convention and not pick up something. Of course, I always have. I'm not a big toy collector. But as far as, there are certain toys I had in mind, and I even told John before we even went down there, and I said, you know, this is what I'm looking for. If you happen to come across it, let me know, because, you know, I want to pick them up. I was able to pick up almost all of what I wanted, actually. I wanted to actually get more of this series of toys, but this is the only one I came across. There was two I found complete in box, but they were like $50 and $60. This was, I want to say it was like 15, something like that. But it is an original Karate Kid action figure. As you can see, that's Daniel. These usually go for anywhere between like $16 to $20 on eBay. And it's usually without the robe. As you can see, he has his original robe on. Usually, if you take the robe off, it's just like a plastic robe underneath, and that's usually how you find them on eBay. The robes got lost most of the time. So this guy has his robe, has the button on the back, which actually, if you push the button, let's see, I think, yeah, there you go, it kicks. So every so often he'll kick, and I don't want him to, but I'm sure the mechanisms aren't exactly the best, you know, like they were when they were first made. But that is a Karate Kid action figure. I am looking for. I wanted to get Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi, John Kreese, the sensei from the Cobra Kai, as well as Johnny from the Cobra Kai, the four main guys from Karate Kid 1. So this is my first one towards getting those four. Karate Kid being, you know, one of my favorites during the 80s. I actually went as Karate Kid for Halloween one year. So that is a Daniel, you know, Karate Kid action figure there, complete. At least complete with his robe. I mean, they used to come with like little scrolls and like props and stuff. I'm not too worried about finding that stuff. I just want the action figure. So I thought that was pretty cool. And that was when I actually had mentioned to John ahead of time. I'm like, you know, hey, if you happen to find a Karate Kid action figure, please, you know, either just pick it up or let me know. And I was able to come across that. So that was cool. And then the only other toy that I found, again, this was on my list. I did want to get a complete Voltron, the original like metal one, where the lion's actually connected to the black lion, and they actually made the full robot. I did find one. Unfortunately, it was like $90 because it came complete. All the little people, everything, it came complete. I wasn't really caring about getting the people and stuff. I just wanted the five lions, and, you know, to be able to make the robot with the sword. And unfortunately, the only one that I found there was $90, and I wasn't looking to drop $90 on a you know, statue or a toy for my shelf. So. That was the only one I wasn't able to come across other than the other Karate Kids. This was also on my list, and I was able to get this for, I believe, $10. This is my favorite G.I. Joe of all time. Growing up, I asked for this figure, I would say, every birthday and every Christmas, probably for 5 straight years, and never got it because it was really hard to find back then. My parents told me they went nuts looking for it and never could find it. I was able to find an original. There was a couple of re-releases. I almost fell for it, and I looked at it and I was like, something doesn't look right. And the guy's like, no, that's the like 25th or 30th, I think 25th anniversary edition. And I was like, no, I don't want that. I want the original. And he didn't have it, but I was able to come across it later on. But that is Quick Kick from the original G.I. Joe. It is in this cool little case. I am going to leave it in the case because if you look back here, it does have his accessories. It has his nunchucks and his katana blade in his backpack, which would go into the hole in his back. So it did come with both accessories, and it is in really good shape. There's no paint missing whatsoever. Just in really good condition, as you can see. And for 10 bucks, like, you know, I looked these up on eBay. They're going for anywhere between 10 and 20, so it was a good price. So I was able to pick up Quick Kick from G.I. Joe. And like I said, I'm not a big toy collector, but like of all the G.I. Joes, that's the one I really want to have from when I was a kid. I never had it before. I mean, I always wanted it, and it was just always in short supply. So I was a big fan of like ninja karate stuff back in the 80s. As you saw, Karate Kid, Quick Kick is the ninja karate guy. Kung Fu and Kung Fu Master were my favorite games back then. I was a huge karate Kung Fu fan back in the 80s. So Quick Kick from G.I. Joe, original, like I want to say 1985-ish, something like that. But like I said, I will leave it in this case for display on my shelf, and it'll keep them nice and good condition. So that's pretty much the toy end of things from RetroCon. I call those wins. I mean, that was what I was going for and what I was looking for. As far as video games are concerned, I was able to pick up, like, I'd say a handful. I've got 1, 2, 3, like 6, technically 7 games I picked up. So I'm going to show you those right now. I came across one vendor who actually is a former coworker of mine from Atlantic City. It just blew my mind. Haven't seen him since I left Atlantic City back in like 08, 09. Apparently he is now, I believe I think he's still in the casino business, but he also does like video game selling on the side. And I came across his booth, and he did have a game I needed, which is awesome. And so I was able to support him. But that is an NES game called, that is Batman: The Return of Joker. As you can see, there is some writing on it. Not a huge deal. Label is in beautiful shape. This is the last Batman game I actually needed for the NES. So I was able to pick that up from him. His name's Mike. And I was able to pick that up from him. I'm just ultra stoked. I've been searching this one down on eBay. And was always, you know, I paid less at the convention than I would have if I had just given in and gone to eBay for it. So it was under 20 bucks. I think the value on the app went for 16 to 20, something around there. So I was able to get it for at value or a little bit less. And just really, really stoked to have that in my collection. The next one I picked up, I actually traded this game. I had this game in my collection, and believe it or not, did not have duplicates and did trade it away. For a European PAL Sonic 2 for the Master System. I traded it away just because it's harder to find that Sonic 2. And as far as value is concerned, it was actually worth more than the game that I had traded away. I was like, oh, I'll find it again. It's been like 6-8 months. I haven't been able to find it. I finally did find this one to put it back in my collection. And I'm not letting it go again because I kind of regretted it in a way. So now I've got Sonic 2 on the Master System, complete in box, by the way. And now I've got this game back in my collection, right in time for Halloween. It is A Nightmare on Elm Street. I was able to find that at the convention. As you can see, it's in pretty decent shape. Some marks on the spine, and there's a little bit of like some scratching on the front here, but nothing too bad. I was able to talk him down and throw $5 off the price because of the fact that it shows some wear. I think he had it at 25 or 24, and I was able to talk. It was 24. I was able to talk him down to 19. Because, you know, I was like, I'm a collector and blah, blah, blah. This is fine for me. It was just a way to get a better deal, honestly, because that put it more around the range of where it was worth. And it was the only copy I came across the entire convention. So I was really, really stoked to find that and have that back in my collection. So Nightmare on Elm Street is right back in the NES collection again. And then I found the last NES game. It's actually in a little baggie. I'm going to take it out here. I had been looking this one up on eBay as well. And came across it with no problem, but again, the price has to be right. eBay is always inflated, and unfortunately, that's sort of what's driving the price on, you know, in the marketplace here. But not sure if it's any good. I just know it's one I need. But it's called The Best of the Best, and that's Championship Karate. Yet another karate reference here. But it is an NES game I needed. I have no idea if it's any good. I've never played it before, but it looks like it's in really decent shape if it'll ever clear up for you. Oh well, whatever. You get the idea. It's clean. But Best of the Best Championship Karate for the NES. So I was able to add those 3 NES titles to my collection. I want to say I'm just shy of 700. I'm like at like 696 maybe for my NES collection back there. Getting close. Getting so close. Obviously a lot of the rare ones I still need, but you know, the commons are starting to fall finally. And some of them, like Nightmare on Elm Street and the Batman game, The Return of Joker, aren't as common as you would think. I haven't come across them too often. So And then of course I hit up the guys at Lucky Fun Time. I saw them with their booth. They did have a Sega Saturn I really was interested in, but I didn't want to drop that kind of money. I wasn't looking for a new console. I just wanted to grab some spare games, a couple toys, and then kind of call it a day, which is what I ended up doing. But I had to support those guys because I absolutely love their store and love their selection. One of the only places that actually has some Japanese games available, so you know me, I have to buy my Japanese games. Just a pretty common Japanese Famicom disc game. I had no idea what it was, and I wouldn't have known what it was unless I put the sticker on it. But it is, as you can see, Pro Wrestling and Volleyball. And there's your label right there. I'll take it out for you. It is complete in like a little hard case in the sleeve. Not that I really was, you know, crazy seeking out this game, but it's just another disc system game. There's your Pro Wrestling side right there, and then you flip it over. The other side is your volleyball side. So you got side A and side B. And but you know, it's just I love the disc drive system. It's one of my favorite things about the Famicom is that it has that disc drive, and it's just a lot of fun. And honestly, Pro Wrestling and Volleyball, why not? You know, it's an old NES 8-bit game. It sounds good to me. So I picked that up along with a Super Famicom game. I have this game pretty much on every system I own. You name it, I have this game. But I don't have it in Japanese, and I'm a sucker for that. I would love to play this game in Japanese, so I picked it up. But that is Monopoly. I mean, they made this for every system. I think I own it for like almost every system I have. But I mean, just to see Monopoly in Japanese, I don't know if the game itself is in Japanese. I have no idea. I have not popped it in the system yet, but it just looks like a fun time. And you know, why not have Japanese Monopoly? So that was the two of those combined were $5, which is a steal as far as I'm concerned. And then the main game that I bought from Adam and John over at Lucky Fun Time was for the N64, American N64, or I should say North American. I found the second game in this series at Too Many Games. So this is the first one in the series I found at RetroCon. Awesome game by Atlas. It's Snowboard Kids. So I've got Snowboard Kids from RetroCon, and I did pick up Snowboard Kids 2 from Too Many Games. So I've got both of them now on the N64. Have not played them, but I just know that just from what people have said, they're just, you know, an amazing time. So so that is the game section, so to speak. And then I have one more game. I don't even know if it's going to work because of the condition it's in, but when I saw it, I had to pick it up. The sticker on it said $20, and I was actually going to pay $20 with no problem. I was very unschooled, so to speak. I didn't know a lot about this system, so I actually did a quick Google on it because I passed it by and I saw it and I was like, I don't know if I should get it. And John's like, why don't we look around a little bit, think about it, right? You know, because you know, for $20, I don't know if I'm going to play it. So I did some research on what it was. I saw like the cords and everything that were coming off of it. It didn't look like there was an AC adapter. Found out it was battery powered. So that was all the stuff I needed to know before I went in to try to buy this. So I found out it was battery powered. It does just have like one really long cord, which if you look, it sort of looks like an Atari cord, which it partly is. So when I went up to him and I wanted to see the condition and open it up, I'll get back to that part in a second. But what I did pick up is a little brown box made by Atari, and that is Super Pong. As you can see, you've got the two knobs. This is like the brown box that Ralph Baer made back in the day. A little bit more of a modern version, but it does have a let me get a little closer for you. It does have like the select game switch down here, so it does have 4 different games in it. The on-off switch is right here, and then you push to start the game right here, and you've got your little wheels that controls the game. So I was like, all right, you know, for $20, you know, I knew that it wasn't missing any cords. I said, you know, do me a favor, can you pop open the battery cover for me, just to see, you know, what's going on, make sure there's no corrosion. They popped it open, and there's a massive amount of corrosion in there. The old batteries are still in there, actually, right now, and I don't want to even touch it. So I do have to dispose of those batteries and take some vinegar and try to clean it up and get the corrosion off. Even once I do that, it's not guaranteed to work. But I told him, I was like, well, I'm not paying $20 after seeing the corrosion in the battery compartment. He's like, no, he's like, I wouldn't expect you to. How about 10? I was like, for $10, at the very least, to have a brown box Super Pong in my collection for $10, I'll definitely do that. And I'm just hoping it works. Honestly, I'm not going to play it that much. It's just really for the collectability factor, and to have it in the collection would be awesome if it was a obviously working condition. So, you know, we'll find out. I'm gonna bust it open. I'm gonna try to clean it up. You know, dispose of the batteries and just bust out some vinegar and you know, shine it up and see what happens. So, I just found it to be awesome, and that, you know, that's just cool just to have it in the collection at all. And the fact that he cut the price in half for me, I was like, okay, I'll take it. So so that's all that. That was all the game pickups and the action figures and everything else. There's also a Voltron booth there, actually, coming up on the 30th anniversary of Voltron, which is insane to me because I watched that growing up as a kid. But I was able to pick up a button for free, 30 years, and it has the Voltron, you know, the line or the robot on it. Thought that was really, really awesome for the 30th anniversary of Voltron. Just wanted to share that with you. It was free. It was at the booth, and you know, the guy was talking about Voltron and stuff. And then finally, like, my prize pickup of the convention. If you guys are unaware, there's a guy who goes by the name of Square Painter. He's an 8-bit pixel artist. Paints anywhere from, you know, like an 8x10 small canvas up to like a huge canvas, which sells for like $1,000. There was a huge one on display, which was for sale. Sonic, I mean, crazy job that he does on this stuff. I've done some pixel painting myself, and it's tough. And to get the color mixtures right and everything perfect like that, he was selling it for $1,000 or $1,200, something like that, something crazy. But I've always wanted a piece of his work for my game room. By the time I came across his booth at Too Many Games, I had already spent way too much money, so I didn't get any. He ended up having a booth at RetroCon, and I was looking through his stuff and everything else, and I didn't really see anything that jumped out at me. There was a Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales painting on like an 8x10 small canvas, which, you know, it was good, but it didn't hit me. I didn't really like see it and say, oh, I have to have it. And then as I got towards the end of what he had, I found this, and I could never pass this up. I absolutely had to have this in my game room, and I finally have a signed piece of artwork from Square Painter. As you can see, Square Painter on the back, Square Painter 14 with his signature. As you can see, it was 20 bucks, and it is just a small 8x10 canvas, but I am okay with that price. I was expecting it to be more. When I saw this, I just almost like flipped out, and this is going right on my wall, and that is an 8-bit pixel art painting of Alex from River City Ransom. Whether you guys know or not, River City Ransom is one of my favorite all-time games on the NES. It's definitely my top 3. Obviously, you know, Kung Fu is just like one of my favorites of all time. But River City Ransom, so far ahead of its time. From back here, you can't really see too many flaws, but if you really get up close, you can actually see some brush strokes and some line work that wasn't exact and stuff like that. And I actually like that about it. I like that it's not perfect, and it just shows that someone painted it by hand, and that's awesome to me. So, you know, I do have a spot up on the wall, on the NES wall, so to speak, that it actually fits perfectly in. I didn't even plan it that way. But I've always been meaning to get a piece of artwork from Square Painter, and I finally do have it, and an awesome one at that. So I figured for 20 bucks, the amount of work that goes into these things, I was more than happy to pay that to him. So that's the final pickup. That's my prized possession right here from the convention. I absolutely love that thing. And that's gonna be a wrap, guys. I know this has been a long video, and I apologize for the length, but I just hope that you enjoyed the footage and seeing some of the stuff that came out of RetroCon. They do hold it every year in Oaks, Pennsylvania, so I will be there next year, as well as Too Many Games. Next one coming up is in the end of October. I want to say October 25th. If you guys are in the Eastern Pennsylvania, North South Jersey area, South Jersey Geek Fest is coming up October 25th. If you guys are unaware, Google it, look it up. It's on Facebook, it's on Google. They have a website. I will be there. John and I will be back at South Jersey Geek Fest. And I would love to meet up with some of you guys if you plan on going. Drop me a line and let me know on my ACCardShark, Facebook, or right here on YouTube. And again, Square Painter is on Facebook as well. If you like this artwork, he's got plenty of it. He's on Facebook under Square Painter. He has an Etsy shop. You can buy directly from him on his Etsy store. And he does go to these conventions. I wouldn't be surprised to see him at South Jersey Geek Fest as well. So cannot wait for that, and I will have a video from that as well. Hopefully you guys stuck with me through this long video and enjoyed. Until next time, guys, ACCardShark. Take care.